Hey, Heather from Hooked on Pickin here. I have my friend Ashli with me, and she is awesome at doing furniture rehab. She considers herself a novice, but I do not consider her a novice because she knows way more than I do about furniture rehab. So those of you who are looking for some furniture to resell, she's going to give us some insights. All right, so when I was at the Goodwill outlet, I was scanning through the furniture section, and I actually FaceTimed you.
While I was doing laundry.
While she was doing laundry. And then the reason why I FaceTimed is because I literally scanned the entire Goodwill outlet furniture section, and I was like, all right, Ashli, I know you do furniture rehab. What would you buy? And so you saw
the dresser.
And you were pleasantly surprised when I finally showed it to you today that it was taller than it was. And so before we get into why she told me to pick this piece, I want to show you a few of the pieces of what Ashli has actually done in her own personal home before.
All right, so this chair I found at I have a friend who flips houses, and every once in a while he comes across a hoarder's house. And so he was kind enough to let me go through the house, and it was covered in 50 layers of dust. And so I actually took it home and I power washed it and bleached it and left it outside to air out. And then I started painting with chalk paint.
So was this all in one piece, or was it rickety? Did you have
No, it's solid wood. It's in excellent condition. That's what I always, for the most part, always try to, is solid wood pieces.
Okay.
Is what I always try and stick with.
Now I see a cushion on this chair, and I think hoarder house cushion. What kind of condition was the original?
The cushion had to be redone. The piece of wood that the cushion was, the cotton was glued to and the fabric was stapled to, I did rip that off. And then I relaid the cushion, and then bought a piece of fabric. And I actually will switch out the fabric depending on the holidays. For Christmas, I get a little bit more.
So this is your seasonal chair.
It's my seasonal chair.
Awesome. Well, that is a gorgeous piece. I love it. And so about how many hours of work do you think it took to redo this particular chair?
To be honest, probably an hour and a half is...
That's it?
Yeah.
That's shocking.
All the time.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so this next one I'm super excited about, because those of you who are my dumpster diving friends and my trash finders when it comes to furniture, this story is going to totally appeal to you. So tell me about this piece.
All right, I was driving down the side of the road and I saw pieces of furniture completely torn apart laying next to their trash can, and so of course I stop. And when I got out, the dresser was, I think only 2 pieces were actually still intact. And it was covered in bird poop, and that did not stop me.
That is awesome.
I took it home and I bleached it a lot, and it was actually yellow, the 1970s yellow, and I went ahead, bleached it, cleaned it very well, and I did put it back together. A lot of wood glue was used in this, but it was solid wood and I hated to see it go. It had a lot of beautiful accents. If you pop the drawers out, you'll see where I actually used contact paper and gave the drawers a nice decorative design to it.
Yeah, I love the little like scrolling details on the bottom and the really fun kind of top on it.
That's what I loved about it and why I couldn't let it go.
Yeah, was all this hardware original
yes,
to the piece?
The hardware is original. I did use Rust-Oleum and spray painted it, but it is, I believe it was white and yellow.
Awesome. That is a gorgeous piece. Like I would totally put that in my house.
Thanks. Piece was my grandmother's. When she passed away, I took her bedroom suite and I needed a buffet in my dining room and it was free and I took it and I spent about maybe 3 days on it, half an hour a day.
Awesome. That is really, really pretty. Was it originally red or was it wood?
No, it's solid wood, but it was, I would say a 1970s, kind of a light tan bedroom suit, the second piece.
And I'm looking at the picture. Is the top a different color than the front?
Yes, it's two-toned. I do that with obviously a lot of pieces that I paint.
Well, that's really popular right now too. So.
It is distressed. If you were to come up on it, you would be able to tell that they're where I distressed the sides of it.
Okay.
And a little bit of the original
with just some
comes
sandpaper
through.
and stuff like that. Awesome. That is gorgeous. Hey everybody, so we're at one of our local places right here in town. It's called Warehouse 300 and they actually have like a lot of shabby chic furniture rehab. I'm here with my friend Ashley, who I believe is an expert in furniture rehab. She wouldn't call herself that. She does a lot of stuff just personally for herself. But we're in this booth specifically because it's in the corner and it's not as loud as the rest of the place. They got big fans going. But this actually is a booth that's available for rent. But if you want to come in close, we'll go ahead and talk about some of the furniture. Right here is the name of the place. It's called Warehouse 300 Vintage Marketplace. And this booth space is actually available for rent. But I actually came in here because there's a lot of variety in some of the pieces that we have. I'm not into shabby chic, but I actually do like this. And so Ashley, can you kind of tell us what did they do to this piece to make it look like this?
Basically, it looks like it's just chalk paint, and then you take sandpaper, you distress it. I use polyacrylic as a finisher, but I would say it's probably about 3 to 4 layers of chalk paint.
Okay, so I'm not into the distressed farmhouse look. I like a cleaner look, but this really appeals to me. Now, how do they get it so that it doesn't look as distressed?
Just layers. After you
so
paint
more
it,
coats of paint?
Yeah, more coats of paint will give it a polished look.
Okay. Now, what's the difference between what they did to this as opposed to what they did to that chair up there?
Just 1 layer to probably 3 or 4.
Okay, so probably 2 or 3 layers more on the table than on the chair.
Yeah, and they were very light brushing.
Okay.
The chair.
To give you an idea of what shabby chic kind of sells for, this table we've been talking about is marked. It's a set of 2 tables for $110. That blows my mind. That's crazy to me. Let's check this one. This chair is $30. And so where do you get a lot of your stuff, Ashley? I bet a lot of furniture resellers do the same thing as you. Where do you get it?
People's trash.
So like we have a local in Trenton, we have like a local put your stuff out at the curb day where it's like large
holiday
stuff. And so that's Ashley's holiday. She drives around and grabs anything that's in decently looking condition, mostly wood type of things.
Yes, anything solid wood, I will instantly stop and do my best to get it. I've carried pieces down the street. I've had called friends and had them help me load it up.
You embarrass your children while they're in the car.
My daughter's 7 and she is picked up on Mom, stop going through people's trash.
But hey, listen, when you're gonna make an extra buck or want to make some cute furniture for your house, that's the way to do it. That's awesome. So this is a new avenue that I'm really excited about, and we're gonna actually do a full tour of Warehouse 300, and so look for that in upcoming videos. But thanks for giving us the info, just kind of right offhand, and we'll be able to see all the booths on another day. Thanks. All right, so we found some other fun stuff that we want to talk about. So we're in this booth, and we're actually, this door kind of caught our eye. So Ashley, can you kind of just talk about what did they even do to this door? What is it?
It's an old farmhouse door. I would say probably the only new pieces of this door. Everything else is old furbished stuff, probably from auctions or farmhouses, I would say are these two hooks and then the light.
And that actually is wired in.
It is. It will turn on. It's plugged in.
And then they put a shelf on it. And then these are probably just from an old farmhouse too. And then they put it, like attach it to this small little kind of bench. And we looked earlier and they just bolted it in. That's awesome. Super cute. All right. And then there was one other thing. Well, this is kind of, oh yeah, this is $249. And then this is kind of a more clean lined refurb where they actually just use painter's tape here, right? And then this is blue and white. And you said what colors are real popular right now?
White and the dark navy.
The navy blue.
Very popular right now. And I find that gray
is kind of fits everybody's needs.
Yeah, gray's in.
And then this was really interesting to me. And then you were talking about one specific aspect of this.
But yeah, my favorite thing to do for my own personal use when I'm at home is Hobby Lobby, the knobs. You can find really unique knobs. They have a whole aisle. I wait until they're half off, and I go back and get them.
And then is it normal to kind of leave some of the regular wood and then leave some painted to do both?
Yeah.
That's cool. Very fun. So you can kind of do anything to meet people's needs. And I'm sure furniture rehabbers will be able to just have a customer base that they know that they really like. But this place is awesome. I could peruse here. Oh, how much was this one? Desk is $110. So definitely money making in this kind of rehab. So you might have to branch out of just doing your own and start selling it, you know, with all that spare time with kids. All right, now that we know the gorgeousness that she makes into furniture, what can you do with this particular piece here?
Well, what I would start with would be removing the drawers, cleaning it, removing the hardware as well. I always put the hardwood pieces in a Ziploc bag so I do not lose them. I have unfortunately done that once or twice. Because one of them is missing, I feel that I would check out Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, see if I could find a
like a matching handle.
Yeah. If not, then you can get as creative as you want. I've bought knobs off Amazon.
Okay.
Hobby Lobby is great. I wait till they're half off.
Do you collect hardware like when you go to like
I
auction
do.
estate sales
I do.
and stuff? So you have like a box of stuff
I do.
at home.
I have tins of hardware.
Okay.
Old houses are great for that. Sanding, I use chalk paint. The beautiful thing about chalk paint is you really do not have to sand anything. Years ago, I didn't use chalk paint. I had to sand everything and then I had to prime it. Chalk paint.
So you don't have to sand the entire piece?
No.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
I would recommend sanding this particular piece just because of some of the sealant and
the
how
bubbling and rippling.
It is coming off, but it's solid wood. It's a beautiful piece of furniture. And
now
wood glue.
This is the bottom leg that was missing over here. It actually was in the top drawer, which was shocking. So have you ever found a piece that's missing something?
Absolutely. And wood glue is how I would reattach that.
Okay, so like right here, you would just stick it back on the side and reattach it. Okay, and then what other kind of decor? Like this is something that like this chip is missing and there's a chunk missing over here on some of the details. Does that matter in a piece like this?
It depends. You could use some wood filler and smooth it out if you would like. I like distressed looks.
Well, that's kind of the shabby chic farmhouse thing.
Exactly. Once it's painted, I'm going to go back and distress it a little anyway. I like a little of the original to kind of come through. If it was going to go into my house, it would probably be a country linen and a gray that I would paint. But navy
is really popular.
Very popular right now.
And I noticed some of the pieces you did are red because that's kind of the decor of your home. Okay, so walk us through. you picked out this piece, if it was just yours, and tell us the process from start to finish, what you would do, what the products you would do, kind of how much that would cost you, things like that.
Okay.
From start to finish. And then we'll, at the end, tell you exactly how much we think we can sell it for. So we got it for $10 at Goodwill, and so just go ahead and come up to the piece and just walk us through what you would do.
Okay, so I would get it outside. I would wipe it off, clean it off, especially the insides of the drawers. Take a cleaner, clean it off, sanding. Sandpaper's $2, $3. So I would sand it down, remove the I remove the hardware first, I'm sorry. And I use Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And so once I've gotten all debris off of it, I use microfiber towels a lot of the time, and then I also vacuum to make sure that we don't have any extra particles, dust left on the piece of furniture. That will show up. The lovely thing about chalk paint is it's very forgiving. It's my favorite part. It's the easiest thing.
You can mess up and it's not so bad.
Anybody can chalk paint.
Okay.
Anybody. And if you do it wrong, that's okay. It's chalk. It comes off.
Okay.
And you start over. But then I would...
And how much for the chalk paint for this whole piece, probably?
I buy Rust-Oleum, and typically I'm going to spend about, I want to say, under $20 for a gallon.
Okay, and then obviously it
would not take a gallon. That's the...
Maybe like a third of a gallon?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. You're not going to use a lot, and so, you've got other projects ready to go. The supplies are there, ready to go. Same with the chalk paint, the sandpaper.
Okay.
And so, you have to buy the initial cost, but typically it's going to last several projects.
All right, so you've got it cleaned, you've got it sanded, you've got it, your chalk paint's ready to go. Now what?
Paint it.
You just simply paint it?
Yeah, I
with a
would
paintbrush?
paint all of it.
Do you use a roller or?
I use just a regular $2 paintbrush from Walmart.
Okay.
A bristle paintbrush.
Okay.
I prefer a short handle. I think it's easier.
Okay.
And it would probably, I would say, 3 coats. So I would do a coat a day.
Okay. And now I saw some of your pieces were two-toned, and if you wanted a two-tone, would you just use painter's tape on the edges that you didn't want to paint?
Yeah, you can. I won't lie, I don't ever use the painter's tape.
Okay.
I just eyeball it.
Because you want it to
raised.
look a little bit...
Yeah, because if it's raised along here, and so I'm just going to keep it on the top half.
Okay.
But then I'm going to go through and I'm going to sand it anyway. And so any of it that would have bled over or fallen over is going to... those are...
Get sanded off anyway.
Those are the places where I would just take it off.
Well, that's a time saver not having to paint your tape
Exactly,
every edge.
Chalk paint is very fast. Same thing with the drawers. I would not, I would very likely will do the drawers a different color as well.
Okay.
And no tape, just paint. And then once it's all dried, I use polyacrylic. And then I would use a foam brush.
Okay, what's the polyacrylic do?
It's the sealant.
Okay, so keep it so that the paint doesn't come off and
Yes.
it's kind of a water barrier?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I use polyacrylic. It seals it. And then I typically do 2 to 3 coats depending on, what part of the house is this. Since it's a bedroom, it's not a kitchen table, it's not a side table.
Okay.
Probably 2 coats.
Okay.
And then the hardware. Then I would get into the hardware, if I'm going to use new pieces, old pieces, mix and match, paint them depending on what color I want. I use Rust-Oleum spray paint a lot.
Okay.
And then...
And you pretty much just do this in your garage or in your driveway?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you had talked about doing contact paper in drawers?
Yes. A lot of the times, I have done in the past is contact paper. A design on the bottom. I would not paint the inside.
And that's just a roll of paper you just stick in the drawers?
Dollar store, it's typically like $4.
Okay.
I have some sitting in dressers at home ready to go that I've picked up for 50 cents at Hobby Lobby in the clearance aisle.
Okay.
Beautiful pieces. Just haven't had the time to do it. But then I would contact paper the sides as well. So it gives it just a little extra design and splash of...
Makes it more interesting.
Yeah, when you pull it out, and then I would seal that as well.
Okay, so you use that polyacrylic
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
top
I would go ahead
the
and seal
contact
it.
paper. Awesome. All right, so you got it all done, and it's all cute and adorable. If you were going to sell it, we live here in the Midwest, and so if you were going to sell it in the Midwest, what would you price this piece for?
I would say probably $80 to $110 is what I would.
So we paid 10, and then how much hours-wise worth of work would this particular piece be?
Maybe 4 to 5 tops, and that's spread out, you know, over days, because you do need to give it 24 hours in between each layer.
Gotcha. So you're not having to do work 4 or 5 hours straight. That's kind of nice.
No, yeah.
Take a break. So I don't know about you, but I'm okay with making about $70 to $80 in 4 or 5 hours. Now, Midwest, a little bit lower. I wouldn't say income level, but just the way the money people spend on furniture is a little bit lower. Like if you were in New York City or a larger city, what would a piece like this, totally refurbished, go for?
Hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, $200 to $300 probably.
Yeah, and if you have the time and you want to start getting creative, putting the stencils, you could stencil it. I've only done that one time in a bombed DIY project. Not bad, but you can get into stuff like that. And even this is beautiful design. So I very well may chalk paint this and actually sand this down and stain it.
And just leave it.
Yeah.
With the design it is.
Yes, because really looking at it, it's a beautiful piece of design in the wood.
And where did you learn how to do this?
YouTube.
YouTube. All right. YouTube is more than just watching my videos.
Yeah.
You can learn how to refurbish furniture.
Pinterest.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your expertise.
Yeah.
Ashli, I absolutely am excited to see how this turns out. And so we actually did purchase this for Ashli to redo for us and to give us some insight. So those of you who are crafty, think outside the box, think of different ways that you can sell stuff. We're going to do a tour of a local place that sells this kind of farmhouse shabby chic kind of stuff. And hopefully it's been helpful to learn something new, and remember, in the end, Jesus wins. You guys are a true blessing in my life. Thank you so much for helping me put this content out there to everyone. If you'd like to join these great people, please consider supporting me through my Patreon page. Check the link below. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. If you'd like to watch more of my videos, just click on them here. And if you'd like to learn more about the reseller world, subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Thanks.